How's it going, Man United fans? How's it going? Welcome back to the Man United podcast. Man United Watford next game. Yeah, so talk a bit about the Man United Watford game coming up tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about formation predictions, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's hope we get a good performance tomorrow. Had a little bit of a poor performance midweek against Atletico Madrid. Managed to get the result. Did a bit of a reaction to that. Didn't do a watch along. Managed to do a reaction. But it is what it is. We got the result. That's what matters. 1-1. Take a away goal back to Old Trafford, and we hopefully get a result there. So that's essentially what matters. And some bright sparks of performance. Obviously, Elanga coming on, I think, has given himself huge justice for the game on the game tomorrow. I think he's probably up there to start tomorrow, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about the formation, and we'll talk about that as well. Big shout out to my number one fan at the minute, Imran. So hello, mate, if you're watching or end up watching this. I'm not sure if you're currently watching, but if you are, do manage to catch me later on, then a big shout out to Imran, who's been seems to be my number one fan at the minute. So back onto things then. So watching the press conference, Rangnick's press conference, and basically there wasn't much. To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with the level of questioning. Really, felt like it wasn't targeting the game as much. A lot of the questions were about Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine sort of things and shenanigans going over. That I say shenanigans, that's probably belittling and undermining the actual events that are occurring in Ukraine. Horrible events that are happening in Ukraine, terrible things that are happening over there. But a football coach doing his job as a football manager and a coach doesn't want to be talking or discussing things that are a political issue. That was a little bit off. And we got into talking about, Rangnick eventually got talking about the game, obviously, midweek. Mentioned that we were too cautious, mentioned that we were too static and too slow on possession. We were all those things. We've been playing teams in January that have been beatable, and yet we haven't been beating them. We've been playing your Burnleys, we've been played Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. We've been playing other teams that we should have been beating, and we haven't beaten this season. And then we're going against a decent side in Atletico Madrid, who also have a little bit of form, but have got quality, and it shocked us midweek. We've been lucky that we've played teams in and around the bottom of the league. Off the back of the Liverpool and Man City games, it's been a pretty easy Christmas and a pretty easy January, and we should have really kicked on and really won that game pretty convincingly, but that didn't happen. So we've had a tough spell, and it's luckily we're still actually in with a fight of top four. Sorry, was that as close to the prediction? Although I haven't watched the press conference. Ukraine situation is rightly condemnable. Yeah, they shouldn't have discussed it at all the time. Yeah, I mean, you don't mind questions in and around subject matters that are in the wider populace of football. I suppose Man United and the Premier League and other big clubs have got a duty of care to other aspects of life, but I just felt like a lot of the questioning was surrounding that when really it should have been about the Watford game. So we didn't really get much from it as football fans. It was great. I think it'll be a greater matchup against Atletico when we play them at Old Trafford. I think we've learnt a lot. We learnt this lesson. We know the quality that we've stepped up to, and yet, we've tailed off a little bit. We tailed off a little bit with Atletico in the first 45. I think we got back into the game in the second 45. He realised his mistakes. Why on earth he was playing Lindelof at right back, I'll have no idea as to what he was trying to do there when he had two fit right backs sat on the bench. Wan-Bissaka came on, and it kind of changed the game a little bit. Matic came on. You could see that he was trying to dribble through Atletico a little bit and take the ball and be progressive and be positive, and it was working. Sorry if I'm getting a bit of lag anyway on my stream tonight, because what I've tried to do is update my stream and try to make it a little more tougher on the CPU, but for some reason it seems to be lagging. As Atletico, although shooting 13 shots, they only got one on target. They did. I mean, De Gea didn't have a lot to do, did he? De Gea didn't have a lot to do. We showed a slight attacking threat when we needed to. It just wasn't. I think our trouble at the minute, and it has been for quite some time, is controlling games. I went to the Villarreal game in the group stages. That slow left, easy pass sideways, left and right is too straightforward for us. We're not positive enough. We're not adventurous enough to move it forward from a defensive situation or a deep situation in our own half, and be brave enough to make play the ball forward enough times. Just reading all your comments in, Imran. I really appreciate you dropping the comments in as well. It's good. It's really important to win against Watford as we are close. Yeah, I mean, I watched the Arsenal game last night. Wolves-Arsenal, it was important. Both teams there or thereabouts. Wolves, I think, had a game in hand, or maybe two, a bit further down the table. Arsenal, obviously, in there in the race for top four, managed to claw out 3 points. Watford's the last of the easier games that we've got coming into the March, where we've got Man City, we've got Spurs. Out of the back of those games, we'll have Liverpool eventually. So we've got some tough games coming up, and obviously we've got Atletico in the middle of that. And if we do get through the Atletico game, then we'll have Champions League football still. So there'll be some tough games to rotate quickly in a short space of time. And so these games against Watford and these games where we must win and we're expected to win, we need to win. My worry was with top four is that there was games earlier, like back in December and January, where the Burnley game, even the Watford game the first time around, back in, was it November, October, where we lost badly as well. I just think that we've kind of we've scuppered his chances a little bit with top four because of those games. We're now expecting to have to beat a Man City, to have to beat a Spurs, to have to beat a Liverpool, to have to beat a West Ham to try and give ourselves some chance, because I think that there's games where we should have won, we haven't won, and we've squandered that chance. But that's just my view. Spurs losing against the bottom league. Yes, but I mean, Spurs are classic bottlers, aren't they? I mean, we all know that. We've seen that before, where Spurs struggle quite badly and at this time of the season and bottle it. So that could play into our favour, but we can't count on that. We've got to play our own game. Defending clearance and shots horrendous. We're giving away dangerous chances. Elanga saves the day again. I'm pleased to see Elanga just playing the way that a young player should play. I think that's just what we want to see, isn't it? We just want to see a young player come through the ranks, come through into the team, and just play with energy and spirit. And I think it shows to the rest of the players that as long as you play that way, the fans aren't going to get on your back. I think Rashford's had this kind of big monkey on his back, pressure on his back, I should say. Heaped on him through pressure that he's felt like I've come from the fans, I've come from the club, Rashford has got the ability in there. He's got the ability. He's got the pace. He's a good player. The trouble he's having at the minute is that he's just not performing at that level. And that is just ultimately the problem. I'm just going to try and change my settings a little bit here, because I do feel like I'm struggling a little bit. Try and get some. So anyway, so the next phase of the matchups are the biggest time for. Yeah, definitely, we've got a big run now. A big run of games. ahead, and that's what we've got to try and get a win out of this Watford game. We've got to look each game at a time, and the Watford game is a big game, Imran, isn't it? I think we need to look at that and really focus on that rather than what's ahead. I know we've got City, I know we've got Spurs, I know we've got the Atletico Madrid again, but we've got to look at that. Did you know that the half-time break in the studio, Paul Scholes felt as if he was bullied internally due to the poor first start? Is that what he said? I mean, Scholes, the trouble with the legends at the club, and Scholes is, one of my favourite players of all time. He's been there with my top 2-3 United players of all time. And with other legends of the club, Giggs, probably less so in terms of the pressure that he puts on it. He's obviously not as vocal as like Neville and Scholes and Ferdinand and some other players that have been ex-United legends, ex-United players and now are legends of the club. They've got such a high expectation of where they were at. They've never known anything else other than that expectation. Roy Keane the same, and it's difficult for them to understand why they wouldn't be playing at a high level. They just cannot understand that. So, yeah, I understand why Scholes says some of the stuff that he says, and he's not wrong. He's right. United should be the best. They should want the best. They should have the best. But yeah, it's tough when we're not at the best. And that first half, probably one of the worst first halves I've seen us play. We played pretty poorly at Old Trafford against Atalanta. That was pretty poor. But yeah, I think generally Scholes is pretty right. Yeah, Watford are tough. I'll just move on to we're kind of halfway through where I wanted to be really. But we'll move on to the formation. If I'm getting a bit of lag, let me know as well. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of lag on the stream. I've tried to change some settings, so tell me if it's playing up for you guys as well out there. So, yeah. So prediction: Man United 2, Watford 0. This is what I'm hoping for. I've been great at predictions this season. Although what I would say is I did predict 1-1. Albeit I did say Rashford goal, and Rashford was awful against Atletico Madrid. But I did say 1-1 on Wednesday, and it was 1-1. So I'll take that one. And maybe we should do a little bit of a poll, Imran, and you can go to guess who gets the right score and see who wins at the end of the season from now to the end of the season. So I'm saying 2-0. I'm saying 2-0 Man United Watford. So we'll 2-0 Man United, 0 Watford. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm on about. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. A bit of lag. There's a minute long lag. Yeah, I changed some settings thinking it was the right thing to do. I've changed them back now. I think that's kind of sorted it out a little bit. So apologies. I should have tested it before I came on, but I think that's kind of sorted it all out anyway. So yeah, I think 2-0 Man United. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And I've got no doubt if we play the way we've been playing in the Premier League, we've been playing well since Pogba's come back as well, especially 3-1. I'll hold you to that. So Imran says 3-1. I'm going to write that down. And I'll hold you to that, Imran, next time we do a stream. So Imran said 3-1 Man United, and we'll see who was right on the next stream on the reaction video. So yeah, this is a formation I think he'll play. I think he's got to go with Tellez and Dalot. I think these have been key positions for a lot of big teams in the league. One goal by Ronaldo, and one by defender, one by Pogba. Fair enough, yeah. Pogba, okay. Pogba 1, Ronaldo 1, and so we'll say Maguire 1. Fair enough. I think goal scorers, I'm going to agree with you. I think Ronaldo will get 1. I think he's due a goal. And I think I'm going to say McTominay. So for my 2-0, I'm going to say McTominay and Ronaldo. Bring a mate alongside you. It will be more interesting as well to hear the side of the story, if you know what I mean. No, definitely. Do you know what? Definitely, yeah. So, sorry, bring a mate along. Yeah. Definitely. I want to bring my younger brother as a big United fan. Hoping to try and get him on the stream if I can. And I'm trying my best to try and encourage him to come and do this, because this is not an easy feat to do this some of the time. So definitely what I want to do as well is get people on who are fans of this. So once I get a few more people on, so Imran, if you're available, Skype, we'll do that eventually sometime down the line. Just trying to work it out with the stream. Obviously the stream's pretty new. I'm pretty new to all this as well, so appreciate the support. I really do, mate. And but yeah, definitely would like to get you on at some stage as well, and get your view on things for a portion of the stream at some stage down the line. So no, definitely I'll take that on board and try and get something else on. Yeah, change mine to Scott other than Pogba. You can't copy him. You can't copy me now. Okay, I'll change yours to Scott McTominay then. So that's fair enough. No, but so back onto the formation really. I mean, I think the teams now sort of, and I think this is what's encouraging. This is what we need to see as Man United fans. And I spoke about this a little bit before, especially with your back four. We need a bit of consistency when you play at the back. When you play as centre halves, you want to know who your partner is. You know, you've got Ferdinando, you've got Vidic. You know, Pallister always had Bruce. You know, Yapstam always played with Pallister originally, didn't he? And then we had Ronnie Johnson. We had a couple of others that would fill in there. I suppose we had a little bit of weakness in a centre half. But as soon as Rio came, you know, Rio and Vidic really took the mantle with that. You know, Wes Brown would fill in there as well, wouldn't there? But there'd be a level of consistency, and when you didn't get that consistency, it faltered and it fell away. Varane now clearly is fit. It's clearly getting a little bit of consistency and form. I thought he was all right the other night on Wednesday. So was Maguire. Maguire's 2 decent games now off the back of the Leeds game and the Atletico Madrid game. And they need consistency now. They need to be playing together each week, knowing that they're going to play together each week and build up a rapport and a consistency with each other. That's important for United to have a foundation to build from. It's not so important that your full-backs are consistent. Or what I would say is important to try and get full-backs that are consistent, generally in their performance. So we've not seen great performances at the minute from Shaw. We've not seen great performances most of the time offensively from Wan-Bissaka, but Dalot and Tellers, since they've come in, have done well. Are they as good as? Is Tellers as good as Shaw overall? If Shaw plays to his potential, no, I don't think he is. I think Shaw's a better player, but is Tellers playing better than Shaw is at this moment in time? I do think that he is. Is Dalot a better right back than Wan-Bissaka? Not defensively. And I thought when Wan-Bissaka came on the other night against Atletico Madrid, I thought he was good going forward as well, and he's trying to work on that part of his game. It's a bit of a closer contest, I think, between Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, personally. But yeah, obviously they're important positions, the left back and the right back positions. I think, you know, you look at Chelsea, you know, they lost Chilwell, they lost Reece James, and their team went backward. You know, they were dominating the league. The performances were unbelievable. People were talking about being the best, if not, you know, top 2, top 3 club in the world off the back of the Champions League win last season. They've kicked on this season. They got Lukaku in. They lost their 2 full-backs, and they've not been the same team. You know, you look at Man City with the issues they had with Cancelo. You know, Cancelo's been out, obviously had that issue with somebody breaking into his house and everything else, and they've had some injuries in the full-back region. They've not been as dominant as they should be. They're obviously a lot more dominant than Chelsea have been. Liverpool seem to have managed, but they've had issues. But generally, we've suffered in that area. You know, we thrive off a team that has good full-backs, and we've not been able to work that out. You know, Shaw's not been great recently. Tellers and Dallo were knocking on the door for getting sold or being pushed out on loan at the start of the season, and yet now here we are talking about them being in our starting 11. So it's crazy that's the level of consistency that United have not had in its team. A team that pretty much picks itself. This shouldn't be a difficult task for any of us to pick a team. Sorry mate, I missed your comments there. We need to proper CDM. Poor passing, yeah, I think so. I think generally, I think what the midfield are coming to the midfield now. I thought it was good against Leeds. However, what I would say is the conditions suited the game. It was a slow game. The ball wasn't running quickly. It allowed us to get nearer opponents, get nearer the ball. The defence weren't worried because it wasn't going to go over the head, and they were going to be sprinting after it. And it was a slow game. And that allowed McTominay to get close. It allowed Pogba to get close. It allowed the fullbacks and the centre halves to get close to the ball in their opposition. And we controlled the game from there. Tellers is a big match player, but Shaw needs to be in the team. He definitely brings on a change with his aggression and passing. Definitely, mate. Yeah, I agree. I think Tellers is a good player. I think he plays to his full potential most of the time when he plays. His full potential is, if you kind of look at it, I suppose, is FIFA rankings. If you play FIFA, or if you look at it out of 100, Tellers is probably a low 80 potential. But Tellers will play to that potential most of the time, whereas Shaw has got the potential to be a lot higher. The higher is, and the thing is, Shaw's not playing to that potential at the moment. He's playing somewhere in the 70s, and we're suffering because of that. Shaw at the beginning of the season was, again, phenomenal off the back of the Euros. I reckon that Maguire must rest for a match and pick some other defender. I don't know if I agree with that, mate. I really don't, because I do think that your centre-halves, they're not doing as much running. They're not doing as much running around. They're not chasing the ball. They should be pretty much in position. They're moving up to the halfway line. They're moving back. Really, unless they're out of position, then they're sprinting for the ball. But generally, they shouldn't be out of position, so they should be fit. There should be no reason why they're not fit. They're not tired. They're not running into channels or whatever else. They should be pretty much there. Also, where is Zidane Iqbal? He's a big star making. Yeah, it's a good point, that, and he obviously got his Champions League chance as well, didn't he? And there's a few other younger players. There's James Garner as well that I'm hearing good things about. He's done really, really well on his spell. I think is he out at the minute at Notts Forest. I've heard Williams is doing really, really well as well. The fullback at Norwich as well. Maguire may seem energetic, but he is defending. Look, I'm not. Maguire has not been great, has he, this season? He's not been great, and he's not been great recently. But defenders need consistency. If a defender makes a mistake, there's usually a big punishment for a mistake when you're a defender, and that's usually a goal, a chance. When a midfielder makes a mistake or an attacker makes a mistake, there's usually not such a big punishment. You'll lose possession. There's a chance you can win possession back. So, look, I'm not going to say Maguire's the best defender in the world, but when he has confidence and he's got consistency and he's got support with Varane and he's got this level of the team are playing well, I think he plays better. When you look at the midfield in front of him, Imran, as well, you look at Fred and McTominay, and obviously now we've got Fernandes and Pogba in there as well now. All the McTominay-Pogba thing's kind of working pretty well. But previously to that, when Ollie was here and Rangnick came in, Fred and McTominay were playing, and to have those midfielders in front of you that don't want the ball, typically Fred and McTominay don't ask for the ball enough. They're not progressive. They won't turn and spin an opposition player and play a 20-yard ball forward, or But since Pogba's come in, it's like a breath of fresh air. He's getting the ball on the half turn. He's turning players. He's playing balls over the top. He's playing balls into feet. He's running past players, and that's what we needed more of. Somebody who's confident and believes in the potential, believes in the ability. And is willing to do that. And McTominay and Fred are great. McTominay's great at breaking up the play. Leeds the other day, brilliant. He loves to tackle, loves getting involved, loves getting in people's face. But you'd have put McTominay against, putting McTominay in at Atletico Madrid, and he'd have been chasing shadows. And you can't rely on McTominay to dictate a midfielder. I think we need to create a midfielder. True, but we don't want Maguire in the next Jones. Jones can come in and play for Maguire. I don't think Jones had done anything wrong as well. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, people forget that when Jones was in the squad, he was like, oh, Jones is terrible. But Jones was playing with some fantastic players before they moved on. Rooney was still there. Van Persie was there. Raphael was there. I think he was still there when we had the 08 team. So, there's some great players in that team. Wes Brown was still there. Neville was still there. Evra was still there. Vidic was still there. When you think of that, Jones got into that team and didn't do too bad. And then obviously those players gradually retired. But, Jones in this team, compared to the team that he sort of grew up with, isn't a bad player, is it really, considering the team he's been, he struggled to try and get in at. But no, look, Maguire's... His issue is his pace, isn't it? His issue is his pace. He's coming up against pacey, technical players that run him ragged and run him inside out. We know that. Maguire, if you give him the balls in front, the game's in front of him, aerial balls towards him, either goal kicks or long balls, he's dealing with it every day of the week. And challenges as well. He's putting in a foot. He's good when the game's in front of him. It's when the game goes over his head and he's chasing the game and he's running towards his own goal. That's when the panic starts. And yeah, we'll just see. I personally think, let's just see how this consistency goes. There's been 2 games now. Okay, we've conceded 3 in the last 2. You could argue the Leeds game was, one of the goals was pretty jammy. Jones is technically a sitting potato now. It's heartbreaking to see him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know his level of injuries. There was a kind of a similar theme with Fletcher when he was at United, wasn't there? When he had a stomach bug or something wrong with his bowels or something like that, and he was out for absolutely ages. Hargreaves was the same. We just couldn't get fit. No, I mean, honestly, mate, look, you can have your view on it. That's the whole point of this. You have your view on anybody you want, as long as it's, decent in terms of like what you've said, but like don't be swearing and stuff. But generally, no, you say what you want. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with your Maguire point. I completely see it. I just like to try and see some positive sides to to it as well. That end of the day, it ain't gonna help. It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help me or the team if we're berating a player that's clearly playing on the pitch. All we can do is help him out by supporting him as best we can. And then if it doesn't work out and he leaves the end of the season or whatever else, then, good luck to him. And then we can start, berating him. But I think, it's not going to help anybody if we're getting on his back at Old Trafford or putting out tweets about how shit he is or whatever else. So, yeah. Jones is technically... Yeah, I mean, the Jones thing, it's sad, isn't it? I mean, when somebody's injured for such a long time or whatever the case is, that's what we assume it is, rather than the fact that he's just not been good enough to get into the team for the last year or 2 years or whatever it's been. I think it was more down to injury, wasn't it? But look at Juan Mata. Juan Mata's the same. What's Juan Mata doing? What's Juan Mata done, recently? And it winds me up. I think the guy's somebody we could have relied on Wednesday night, somebody technical. I could see that he was quite animated about the performance, that we weren't progressive enough. Picking up a wage, doing absolutely naff all. Yeah. Billy Gilmore. Billy Gilmore's at Chelsea though, isn't he? Billy Gilmore's on Chelsea, but I mean, to be honest, I've not seen much of Billy Gilmore. I know he did really well at Chelsea under Frank Lampard, and then obviously this season he's been loaned out to Norwich. But then I don't think Norwich have been playing him. But I don't know if Dean Smith in there now, isn't he? So I don't know if Dean Smith's been playing him more and more and more. I don't know how they've been getting on. I know they kind of got out of the drop zone a little bit, didn't they, a few weeks ago, and then they've kind of dropped back into that now. So I'm not sure, really. I've not seen much of Billy Gilmore, but it sounds like a good little technical player. Obviously, we've had some of those quality players over the years as well, haven't we? Like Jack Wilshere and, Ramsey and players like that who've come through and then never really sort of took off. But no, I mean, obviously Scotland love him, don't they? I think he plays for Scotland as well, and they seem to rate him highly for the national team. So, yeah, I don't know much about him, mate. If I'm brutally honest, I've not watched much of him. But yeah, seems like a good kid. 2017 Europa League winners and 2021 Europa League finalists versus current team. What's the difference? Ibrahimovic. I think that was a massive difference. When you look at Ibrahimovic now, he brought us on. Mourinho. There's two massive differences there. Juan Mata was in the team, was younger. Was 3 or 4 years younger. 3 or 4 years a better player. Mkhitaryan. I think Mkhitaryan was a good player. Some young. If you remember Imran, if you remember, let me know. But yeah, Billy Gilmore's he's a Chelsea youngster, isn't he? If you can remember, are you talking about James Garner maybe? I know he's at Notts Forest, but yeah. But no, I think the difference between the 2017 team and the 2021 team, obviously Pogba was more consistent, wasn't he, as well? Back in 2017, was having more of a run of games, was fitter, wasn't picking up these injuries. And then that's when all the issues started after that. But Ibrahimovic was on fire for us, let's be honest. Yeah. It was my must-buy player transfer right now. Oh, mate, it's a good question. It depends what formation we play. If we definitely want to go with number 9, then I think we need a striker. If you look at our strikers now, we haven't got a number 9, have we? We haven't got a number 9. I would have liked Lewandowski. I know, again, he's an older player, so it's daft, isn't it? It's difficult to say because the market's so ridiculous. I mean, it's easy for me to say, oh, yeah, I'd love Haaland, but like bloody hell, he's going to cost how much? 150 million, maybe more, depending on his wages on top of that. And does he actually want to come to United? With all his dad and Roy Keane's situation. I don't know. I think we need a number 9. Really do think we need that. Is Harry Kane going to come to Man United? You never know. I mean, does City want him? Probably. He wants to win titles. And I'm not going to speak ill of Man United now, but are we going to be guaranteeing Harry Kane, who's nearing his 30s, titles in the next 2 or 3 years? It's not a guarantee, is it? Considering we haven't won a title for now, 4 years? 3 or 4 years? So, yeah, we need a striker. I think as wing forwards are brilliant. I think we've got an abundance of wing forwards. We obviously need a creative midfielder. For me, we needed somebody in that midfield who's going to give us a little bit of bite. Where is Lingard and why isn't he in the main lineup despite an astonishingly amazing time at West Ham, or is he now manager over? Well, I like Lingard as well. And the thing is, Lingard played the other night, didn't he? He played. He seems to be featuring a little bit more now. So it's obviously he's getting into Rangnick's head. He's getting into Rangnick's head, isn't he, Lingard? He played the other day, didn't he? Last week, played against Leeds, I believe. He started against Leeds for a call. And Atletico, he came on. If I'm right, I'm not mistaken with that. So. And I thought he played well. And the thing is with Lingard, especially at the start of the season, he's a great link-up player. He links up great with the striker. Whereas Fernandes doesn't do that as much as consistently enough. He was linking up with Ronaldo quite a bit at the start of the season. I like Lingard, but is he going to hang around? It's more to do with Lingard's forward thinking than anything else, really. But I think he's a great player and a big loss if we let him go. Harry Kane wants to win titles with Spurs. Yeah, well, good luck with that one, Harry Kane. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, again, the top 4 pretty much was in their grasp, wasn't it? Coming out of the Christmas break, and yeah, that's obviously where they're thinking. Back onto Spurs. I mean, what I wanted to get up. I mean, talking about weak points. Back onto Watford tomorrow. I wanted to just bring this up. Because I want this to be a bit of a reminder of how things can go awfully wrong at Man United when we're not concentrating. And this was that game back in November, a game that we came into where Watford weren't particularly playing that well. and yet we suffered a really embarrassing result away from home. Once again, Joshua King managed to score against Man United, which he seems to do every time he plays Man United, as if it's like a curse because he used to be a youth team player. Man United had never made it. I mean, weaknesses. I mean, Rangnick talked today about Watford and said that they're a strong team, they're a physical team, they've got big forwards, they've got a bit of quality in Sarr, who scored in this game. They're good on the counter. They play a 4-3-3. They're going to be quick and strong. That's what they were in this game. They're quick and strong. So what we need to do, is as I keep tight. We need to keep tight and control the game. Keep the ball from them. Now, we kept the ball from them last time. We had 60-odd% possession. I was looking at the stats on this game. 60-odd% possession. Get the stats up again for you all. 60-odd% possession against Watford's 38. This is an embarrassing thing. We had 9 shots. 9 shots and 3 on target. I'll just let you guess how many shots that Watford had in this game. Bearing in mind, they scored 4. How many shots did Watford have on the 20th of November when we played them away from home? How many shots do you think they had? If you can guess. Whilst you're guessing that, Fernandes is still the far best player in the team, competing in with the likes of Bruno. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Bruno Fernandes his stats are incredible, and they always have been. I think what frustrates me with Fernandes a little bit is his persistent nagging and complaining, but he's getting better, and I think he's showed a bit of character against Leeds, and hopefully he can, as a team, we can kick on a little bit. You think, Imran? You think that Watford had 5 shots? They had 20 shots. 20 shots to Man United's 9 in that game. And they had 7 on target, Watford, and scored 4. 20 shots for 38% possession. I mean, that's kind of the stuff that we need to cut out. So when you've got 60-odd% of the ball, you need to reduce chances. How you've allowed Watford 20 shots on a goal. Okay, 7 were on target, but 20 shots at goal with only 38% possession. I don't know how that works out. So that's 20 shots on goal. So we need to control the game. Stop worrying so much about what Watford are about, what Watford are doing. We're too guilty of that. Ollie was too guilty of that. Rangnick is a little bit guilty of that. That he is concerned about how they set up, how they, what's their strengths. Let's look at our strengths. Naturally we should be stronger than them. We should retain the ball. We should be better at doing that and creating chances. So let's look at our strengths. Yeah, okay, it'd be naive to not look at their strengths and try and combat that when we haven't got the ball. But generally, we should expect that we're going to have possession, we're going to control the game, and we're going to create chances. So they play a 4-3-3. The physical, the strong. So we need to meet that physical ability in midfield. We did that against Leeds. We showed that we have character to be physical, to put big challenges in, to combat them in that midfield and to throw it back at them. So we've got that if we want that. Obviously, I can't remember the challenge that Harry Maguire put in. If I'm brutally honest, I think it went to VAR, didn't it? And he got sent off for a high challenge. Or was it a late? I can't remember the challenge now, but he got sent off. And when you look at the minutes of the game, so it was 28 minutes, Joshua King scored. Then they scored a second goal. Then Donny van der Beek got us back in the game. And then Maguire got sent off. And then everything went downhill. So after seemingly what seemed like I was defending Maguire, I can see your point. Obviously, that in that game, he kind of let us down. We are creating less and less chances. I wouldn't take much from the Atletico Madrid game. I think with Valanga playing, We've got some ability there. Pogba needs to pull his finger out. We need to rely on Pogba to produce that magic, to produce that thing, to produce the variation from deep, from back here in the defensive line in zone 1 in our own half, and transition it quickly to Elanga, to Sancho, to Fernandes to get Ronaldo on the ball. Pogba's got to do that. McTominay's there to clean up, and that's what he's got to do. Leeds were simpler, despite the 24 minutes, 2 goals. I think Leeds got bad. Yeah, look, without 3 other teams that are worse than Leeds this season, maybe 4 teams, Leeds are really struggling and potentially going to go down. They're lacking a striker. They're thin on the ground in their squad. They needed beating, but there's other teams in this league as well that needed beating. Watford have been shite this season, yet they beat us 4-1. We need to be beating Watford. They're crawling at the bottom of the table. They've had issues with the manager. They've already sacked the manager this season in Claudio Ranieri. They're in disarray, and we need to be putting that to bed. We need to be putting Watford to bed, really. Let's just look at let's just get their previous fixtures up. Just do that now. Bear with me. So in terms of their... Yeah, so I'll look back to sort of 1st of Jan. Sorry, just try and do this. You're testing me now, Imran. Right, sound. Right, let's try this again. So let's just get the fixture up and see where we were at. Right. It's blanked me out. Let's move that. Right. There we go. Right. So look at these fixtures then. If you just look at the recent results, what we're looking at: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 recent results since the 1st of Jan. Played Spurs, lost 1-0. Okay, probably expected. They played Leicester, lost 4-1. Went to Newcastle struggling. Obviously, big January window for them coming in. I haven't got the January signings yet, and drew 1-1. Went to Norwich, who've been struggling. Went to Norwich, lost 3-0. Went to Burnley, another bottom of the league club. Burnley have been sat at the bottom, drew 0-0. Big games: Newcastle, Norwich, Burnley. Out of those 3 games, they picked up a point. West Ham lost 1-0, expected. Brighton lost 2-0, probably a little bit expected as well. Went to Villa, managed to scrape a 1-0 win against Villa, despite Villa having a run of form. Went to Palace, lost 4-1. This is Watford team that is beatable. It is beatable. Look at the run of games that they've had. Over the last 9 games, they've picked up 4 points? 3 points in which you wouldn't even expected them to pick up. This is a team that's struggling badly, and United need to put in the nail in the coffin, the final nail in the coffin in this. We've got to capitalise. On a recent bad form. United cannot go into this game not expecting to win this game comfortably. We've got to go in there, and we've got to, from the first moment, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, go out there and score a goal. I'm saying it's 2-0. I think hopefully your prediction's a bit closer to that, Imran, as well. I'm hoping it's 3-0, really, and not 3-1. But yeah, I'm hoping it's 2-0, and I'm hoping the first goal will come in the first 10 to 15 minutes, get an early goal, and really kill it off quite early. yeah, going to deep analysis, and I'm pressuring you to give more analysis, which you may find difficult. Yeah, no, throw it away, man. I mean, throw it at me, man. I mean, I'll try and do as much as I can. I mean, I obviously want to improve these streams and improve the information I'm giving you as well. So for next time, if there's anything you think you guys, you especially Imran, if there's anything you think I can touch upon for the next stream, I'll try and do a little bit of homework up before I come to the stream and do a little bit on it before I come in. But yeah, definitely, mate. Trying to get as much information as I can and talk about this, and interested to hear your views and stuff. So yeah, please ask away, and I'll answer as best I possibly can, and do as much forward thinking as I can leading up to it as well. So, but no, look, nine games, 4 points. You know, that's not good enough, is it? Out of a possible 27. That's crap, isn't it? Let's be honest. 4 points from 27. You know, 3 points against Villa they didn't expect to get, and you know, a draw against New. Oh, sorry, 2 draws. No, sorry, I missed that. So 5 points from a possible 27. So they got a draw against Burnley and Newcastle, didn't they? But they've been hammered in every other game. Leicester hammered them. Norwich hammered them. Brighton obviously beat them comfortably. Palace hammered them midweek. They're beatable. They're beatable, aren't they? And we need to be confident to beat them as well. So who should we bring on instead of the players you find not suitable in the team right now? Who should we bring on? Look, Rashford's been poor, hasn't he, so far this season? He's been poor again midweek. But I think Rashford is an impact player. When he's come on this season, last couple of games, when he's come on, he scored a goal. He scored. He's an impact player. He's somebody who has got that pace, has got that ability to pressure and put heavy strain on teams that are flagging or are tired in the last 20, 30 minutes. And I'd bring on Rashford. I wouldn't start him. I would bring him on. Who else would I bring on? I'd bring some young players on. You know, I'd give some of the younger players a start. Hannibal's was sat on the bench on Wednesday. I've been hearing so much about Hannibal, and yet he barely gets a start or a mention. The FA Cup games were pretty tough fixtures that we had. We didn't have any sort of easy games, so they didn't get a chance. And I'd like to see Hannibal come in. Other players, really. I mean, maybe Henderson, giving him a chance in the goal. But De Gea's been unbelievable, hasn't it, this season? It's difficult to sort of, and every game's important, so it's difficult to sort of like switch out a goalkeeper. Other than that, really, yeah, I mean, like I say, Rashford is totally an impact player. When he's come on, he's scored. He's done well when he's come on in the second half of games when teams are tired. He's when he's got instruction, when the game's played out, where the coaches and the staff have understood where we're suffering, and then they can instruct Rashford what to do and how to affect the game. That's when he's brilliant. When he struggles is when he's then got to go out there from the first whistle and work it out for himself, and he just struggles to do that. But and Alanga does a little bit as well. Why is Cavani not in the team right now? Injured, isn't he? I think Cavani's picked up an injury. I think it was his groin, wasn't it? I think it was his groin. I think he's really not feeling his groin too well. So I don't think he's recovering that well. Obviously, his age. It takes you a lot longer to recover these days, doesn't it? When you pick up those kind of injuries, and a groin can be a niggly one, really, where you've just got to let it rest. But it can be quite easy to tweak it, I think. Again, so yeah, his groin by all accounts. It'd be interesting to see if McTominay's right. I think he's probably more of a rest that McTominay got from the Leeds game. Obviously, picked up a few little knocks on his ankles and knees and stuff. But apparently it was illness. But hopefully McTominay's right. Is Fred going to play? That's a big one. Is he going to try and cram Fred into this team somehow? I'm not sure. Again, I think he'll bring Fred on. When he's brought Fred on, he's done well. So we'll see on that one. But look, Watford are beatable. I think it's going to be 2-0. Imran, you think it's going to be 3-1. So we'll see. If you could name a replacement for De Gea right now, not that I'm undermining his performances. I think he's been unbelievable. I think the only thing that lets two things that let De Gea down, in my opinion, are his aerial ability. I don't think he's the most formidable goalkeepers when it comes to coming out and grabbing the ball from corners or anything like that, or free kicks in his box. I think he's still pretty weak. Always been pretty weak at that. I think his distribution, every time the ball rolls to him from a defender, I always get a little bit nervous that he's just going to fluff it. And that's the worry I have a little bit with De Gea. But other than that, I think you can't not play him. I think he's unbelievable, really. Fred must be changed to an impact player. Yeah, like I say, it'd be interesting to see how he plays him. He might just decide, look, Pogba didn't play well midweek. I'm not going to start Pogba. I think that would be pretty foolish and pretty negative. The formation here is an attacking one. It's saying we want to create chances. We've got Pogba in that midfield. We've got 2 attacking fullbacks. We've got 2 really attacking wing forwards and Ronaldo. Fernandes is attack-minded. It's an attacking team who can retain the ball, and we want to do really, really well. I think bringing Fred into that team, you're going to drop Pogba, aren't you? If you're bringing Fred into that team, if you're Rangnick, which means that it suddenly just turns a very attacking team into a very defensive team. So no, I think we don't start with Fred, and I think he would come on eventually to replace Pogba to maybe if we were winning the game, especially if we were up 1 or 2-0, Fred would come on just to kind of calm things down and settle it down a little bit. Pickford, it's an interesting one actually. With Everton playing so poorly, would I? We must have a replacement for Bruno too. Yeah, definitely. Bruno, yeah, 100%. And you kind of think that would be Mata, wouldn't you, really? Like when we're getting 60, 70 minutes in, when you just bring Mata on just to kind of like tide things over or whatever else. But generally, you're hoping when you're bringing Fernandes off that you're already winning the game, that you're up a couple of goals and that, you know, you're going to bring Fernandes off and then bring Fred on or somebody, or Matic or somebody more defensive, to turn us from attacking to kind of retaining the ball and killing the game off. But yeah, no, we definitely need a replacement for Bruno. I think that the idea would be to bring some of these young players through. I'm not sure if Hannibal plays in his position, but you know, players who, you know, like players who are going to have a little bit of a future, have come through the ranks, and that's kind of what you want to see replacing Fernandes now, rather than buying another 80, 90, 100 million pound player to replace him. I mean, I wanted Neves. Personally, I went to watch the Man United Wolves game at Old Trafford. Neves absolutely ruined us. It was unbelievable in the midfield, and that's somebody who I think he's not a replacement for Bruno. Don't think he's that attacking. He's more sitting in deeper and been a bit of a tempo player, good midfielder, good passer of the ball, strong, not afraid of a tackle. And I thought Neves was quality, and I thought we had an opportunity to put in a bid for him at January, but clearly we didn't do that. So, right, okay. Well, yeah, utilise Ronaldo properly, please. Do not coach, not to you to coach, but he's on the pot. Yeah. Well, I talked a little bit about this before, didn't I? I feel like United are playing a false 9 situation. I'll get this up really, really quickly if I can, if it doesn't affect the stream too much. But yeah, I was talking about the false 9 before, wasn't I? I'll just grab this. Grab this up, get rid of these horrible adverts. So, imagine you don't have Ronaldo in this position here now. Because when we scored the goal against Leeds, the ball came wide to Sancho, not Alanga, and Fernandes ran past Ronaldo and scored a header. Now imagine you don't have Ronaldo in this formation, and in fact what you actually have is an extra midfielder. So let's just take Ronaldo for a second, so it doesn't sort of complicate things. But imagine you have an extra midfielder in there now, and you're playing sort of something like that, where you've got like a false 9. So Fernandes is a midfielder, but he can also join the attack. But what it also gives you is an extra midfielder. So it gives you the support. You know, you could play Fred, McTominay, Fred, Pogba, or whatever you wanted to, Matic, Pogba, McTominay, whatever you wanted to play, or whatever. It'd give you an extra midfielder, but it means Fernandes can join the attack. It means Alanga and Sancho could come in, and we could play sort of more like that, play more false nine without Ronaldo. But if we're going to play with Ronaldo, we've got to start making more crosses. We've got to start getting wider. The fullbacks have got to start joining the attack, and we've got to start trying getting higher up the field, wider on the field, and getting crosses into Ronaldo. If that's the way we're going to play, to a number 9. If we're not, then well, we've got to come up with some other way. But yeah. Right, okay. Imran, you have been a top lad tonight. I appreciate the support, mate, and I appreciate the comments. Unbelievable. We had another 100,000 Imrans watching the stream. I'll have a lot of questions, but no, honestly, mate, I've absolutely appreciated the questions and the support. It's unbelievable. So thank you very much for that. Game tomorrow. I think it's 3:00 kickoff. I'll do a reaction to that after the game. So catch you on that one, and hopefully we're talking about another really, really positive win. So yeah, appreciated again support, Imran. To those who watch back, please hit the subscribe button and like and share if you can. And don't forget to comment. If you comment, I'll see it after the stream. I'll try and comment back. So thank you. Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.